Hi and welcome to the garden. Today we're going to be moving this obliterated Hellenium simply because the slugs are enjoying it a little too much and we need to rescue it. Now this Hellenium was planted last autumn. Now it's quite early on in the year, so it's just beginning to come through the soil. The thing is, it looked fantastic last year. It's not going to look good this year. It needs to be moved. The slugs are enjoying it a little too much and it's not getting a chance to come up. The second that these leaves start to come through the soil, they're just being totally obliterated. So we really do need to take it out of the garden, put it into a pot. And when we do this, we look at it as sort of like it's a bit like going to hospital. It's a bit like a plant hospital, and we give it a little time. We put it in a pot and allow it to recover, allow it to gain its full strength, grow much bigger. Then we'll put it back into the garden. Then it will be able to grow successfully. This is the thing. Sometimes you've got to know when it's time to sometimes give up on something, and also when you've lost the battle. I mean, this is not good. On the surface you think, well, it's there, it's growing, give it a few weeks, bit of rain, bit of watering, sunshine, it'll be fine. It's not the case. The slugs will keep coming back to this plant and they will keep doing what they're doing. Now we have a policy in the garden, and we've always been like this. We harm nothing at all. So literally all living creatures are welcome in the garden. So that sometimes means that we just have to go that extra mile with the plants to get them to grow in the way that we'd like them to. If we leave it in the ground, we're not going to have any success with this at all. It needs to come out, it needs to go to the plant hospital, so it just needs putting in a pot and looking after, growing on till it's a lot bigger. Because at the minute, all that's happening is growth's coming through the ground, slugs are coming along, they're eating it, and it's not good. It's a vicious cycle. It's just going to keep continuing. So we'll take it out of the ground, pot it on, and take it from there. As you can tell from the soil in the area around the Hellenium, we have tried the wool pellets. Now these are supposed to deter the slugs, and they really do work on so many of the plants in the garden. They have worked. In this case, for some reason, they haven't. The Hellenium's been much too tempting for them, and they've just come along and tried to, they've obliterated it literally. So it needs to come out of the ground, and so we're going to do that now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take his lovely little label out, pop that there, and we're just going to dig quite gently. I'm going to use a trowel, and the simple reason for this is because he's not well established, and I know that for a fact. So his roots have gone a little deeper than I thought, but that's okay. So what I'm doing is just releasing him. I think a spade's a bit overkill for this, really. You can use a spade. Yeah, it's coming out. Absolutely perfect. How's that? Look at that. So he's great. He's got some, put the worm back in the ground. It's got some really lovely roots on. He's quite a deep root run there, but he's just been obliterated. So we're going to pop him onto the potting tray. So that's perfect. So I'm going to get him into this lovely terracotta pot. Got a little rock in there, and obviously a drainage hole at the bottom as well, and a little bit of compost at the base there. So I'm going to pop him in the pot. Oh, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I could have got away with using a bigger pot for him, but that's fine. It's okay. This is a big enough size. It will allow him just to gain some strength and to grow a little bit stronger before he's placed back into the garden, because the slugs are not going to bother him in here, especially where we're going to be putting him as well. Make sure all the corners are filled in. Like I say, I'll give this a really good watering in a little while, and he's going to be fine, because that's the thing, you know, he just needs a bit of, like I said, it's like going into hospital. He's going into the plant hospital and he's going to be taken care of. So pop his label in there, and now I'm going to put him to one side and give him a really good water. The great thing about moving the Hellenium is that there's now a lovely hole here ready for something else to go in, and that something is a very special plant. It is Phlox David. Now, if you haven't grown Phlox David before, give it a try. It's a beautiful tall phlox. It's fantastic when you've got slugs out and about in the garden because they seem to leave it alone, so that's a really, really important thing. And it has the most gorgeous scented white flowers on. Really do recommend it, and that's going to go right here in this spot. So I'm going to get that planted. So what I'm going to do is get more of a hole going on here for Phlox David. He's going to be amazing in this border. He's so tall. Now, given the chance, he could take over this whole space, but this garden is about packing the plants in and about keeping things in check, so he's not going to go too mad. So let's have a look. Let's bring him over. Now, he's been soaking in a bucket full of water because he was split quite harshly, so he's been soaking away. I'd say a bit more soil back in that. Try not to upset our lovely crocosmia there as well. That's perfect. Get that back in, backfill that. So there you go. We'll firm him in, and I think he's going to be really, really happy here. That's perfect. So I'll just get him watered in. Give him a really good water because he does look a little bit sorry for himself. Now he should be fine. Now it looks like it's going to rain at some stage, but if it doesn't, not to worry, because I will keep an eye on him and I will keep him well watered, certainly over the next few weeks. Just to recap, we have lifted the Hellenium that was being obliterated by slugs. We've placed him in a pot in order that he grows on, and so he can then later go back into the garden in another place. We have also lifted and divided a phlox called David, and part of him has gone back into his original spot. The other half has come into the border to the right of me, and he's going to be fantastic there. Now, Phlox David grows to about 1.5 meters, so he's quite a tall chap. He's not something that you would want to put right in the front of a border. He's going to be something you'd put further towards the back. And as I say, those white flowers, the scent is divine, especially on a beautiful sunny day in the middle of summer. You know, it's something I really do recommend that you grow. Thank you so much for watching. It's been fantastic, and I will definitely see you on the next one. Thank you.